This is the Brennan Monorail, a train from the early 1900s that appeared to challenge one of the most basic assumptions in engineering, that a train needs two rails to stay stable. Unlike anything before it, this machine was designed to balance itself on a single rail while moving at speed, something that at the time looked almost physically impossible. What made it even more unusual was the way it behaved in motion, because instead of wobbling or collapsing like you would expect, it could remain perfectly upright as if some invisible force was constantly correcting it. To early 20th century engineers, this was not just unusual, it was deeply unsettling, because it didn't match conventional mechanical intuition. When Louis Brennan first introduced this concept to the world in 1910, the idea was simple but extremely ambitious. If railways could operate on a single rail instead of two, then construction costs could be drastically reduced, and transportation systems could become far more efficient. In theory, this would allow trains to move faster, require less material, and potentially revolutionize the way railway infrastructure was built across the world. Unlike futuristic monorails we see today that require elevated tracks or entirely new systems, Brennan's design was intended to work with existing railway environments, which made the concept even more disruptive for its time. But what truly made this train remarkable was not the rail system itself, it was the mechanism hidden inside the vehicle. At the heart of the monorail was a rapidly spinning gyroscope, a device known for its ability to resist changes in orientation. When spinning at high speed, a gyroscope does not simply fall over when force is applied. Instead, it reacts through a motion called precession, which allows it to respond in a direction perpendicular to the applied force. This unusual behavior meant that, under the right conditions, a gyroscope could be used to detect and correct imbalance before it became visible to passengers. Brennan realized that this physical principle could be transformed into a stabilization system for transportation. In his early experiments, he installed a small gyroscope inside a model train powered by an electric motor. The results were surprisingly successful at first. Whenever the model began to tilt, the spinning disc reacted instantly and produced corrective motion that helped keep the system upright. For a brief moment, it looked like he had discovered a way to make vehicles naturally self-balancing using nothing more than physics itself. However, the system began to reveal a serious flaw when the train was tested in motion through curves. The gyroscope inside the train was trying to maintain its orientation relative to space, not relative to the vehicle. This created a conflict between the movement of the train and the stability of the gyroscope itself. From the perspective of the system, this mismatch introduced unwanted forces that actually made the train less stable during turns, which was the exact opposite of what Brennan needed. It became clear that the system needed more than just passive correction, it needed coordination. To solve this problem, Brennan introduced a second gyroscope spinning in the opposite direction. Both gyroscopes were mechanically connected so that when one produced a precessional force, the other counteracted it. This balancing act allowed the system to cancel out unwanted rotational effects. When the train entered a curve, instead of destabilizing the structure, the gyroscopes were forced to move in harmony with the train itself. This effectively removed the conflict between spatial orientation and vehicle motion, allowing stability to be restored under dynamic conditions. With this breakthrough, Brennan moved from small-scale models to a full-sized experimental vehicle. The prototype was massive for its time, approximately 12 meters long and weighing around 22 tons, equipped with two large gyroscopes spinning at extremely high speeds of over 3,500 revolutions per minute. At this scale, the system was no longer just a demonstration of physics, it was a real transportation experiment designed to carry passengers and prove whether self-balancing rail technology could exist in practical conditions. But scaling physics is never simple. What worked smoothly in a controlled model began to behave unpredictably under real-world mass and gravitational forces. The gyroscopes were no longer just correcting minor tilts, they were now fighting against the full weight of a heavy vehicle trying to tip over. As the center of gravity shifted during movement and loading conditions changed, the stabilizing force required increased dramatically. This pushed the system into a far more complex mechanical challenge than initially expected. At this stage, Brennan began refining the design into something far more advanced. Instead of relying purely on passive gyroscopic behavior, he introduced active control over the system. The gyroscopes were powered by a petrol engine and enclosed in vacuum-sealed housings to minimize air resistance and mechanical friction. This allowed them to maintain high rotational speed for longer periods, and even in the event of power loss, the stored rotational energy was sufficient to keep the system stable for a limited time. The gyroscopes were mounted on a controlled gimbal system aligned with the roll axis of the train, allowing the entire stabilization mechanism to respond dynamically to tilt. Early mechanical versions used physical guide plates that converted motion into corrective force through friction contact. However, this approach introduced vibration problems, making the system unstable under real operating conditions. The response was not smooth enough, and the correction was not proportional to the tilt. To overcome this limitation, Brennan introduced a more sophisticated pneumatic control system. Instead of relying on direct mechanical contact, the system translated gyroscopic motion into air pressure regulation. When the train began to tilt, the gyroscopes activated a valve mechanism that redirected compressed air through internal channels. This air pressure then moved a central rack system that mechanically forced the gyroscopes into a corrective precession cycle, pushing the entire vehicle back toward equilibrium. What made this system extraordinary was the feedback loop it created. The more the train tilted, the stronger the corrective force became. Instead of simply resisting imbalance, the system actively amplified its own stabilizing response, creating a self-correcting mechanism that reacted faster than human perception. In theory, this meant the train could remain stable even under extreme weight imbalance, such as passengers shifting entirely to one side of the carriage. Despite its technical success, the Brennan monorail never entered widespread use. The complexity of the system, combined with high manufacturing costs and the requirement for advanced mechanical components in every carriage, made it impractical compared to traditional two-rail railway systems. At the time, existing rail infrastructure was already standardized, reliable, and economically efficient, which made radical replacement unlikely. And so, one of the most remarkable engineering experiments of the early 20th century gradually faded into history. Not because it failed in principle, but because the world around it was not yet ready to adopt it. What remained was not just an invention, but a demonstration of how far mechanical physics could be pushed when imagination meets engineering. Thank you for watching. If you have suggestions for our next video, feel free to share them in the comments below. We'll be sure to give you an acknowledgement for your contribution. Thank you for joining us on this journey ordinary. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more stories woven through the smallest details.